Many thanks for joining us this afternoon. First, a downpour on Tuesday evening wreaked havoc in parts of Accra, leading to severe flooding, power outages and infrastructure damage. The intense rainfall also left roads submerged, disrupted traffic and collapsed billboards. At the ANC Mall in East Legon here in Accra, a carport caved in as a result of the strong wind and heavy rains, affecting cars parked. Over 50 cars parked there. Some residents and commuters were also left stranded. Now let's do a quick assessment of the devastation caused by Tuesday's rainstorm. I'll go now to Medina, where my colleague Collins Frimpong is on standby, really where there has been a serious distraction to the Medina Technical Institute here in Accra, where roofs of classrooms and dormitories were ripped off. Let's speak to Collins. Collins, what's the current situation in Medina? Hello, Collins, if you can hear me, bring us updates on what happened to the roofs of the institution.
Please come again.
Give us updates on what's happening.
Right. So the incident happened yesterday after 4 p.m. during the downpour that occurred in part of the group.
We'll try and reconnect to Collins at some point in the bulletin to bring us updates as to what really happened to the dormitories, especially the roofs of the dormitories that were ripped off in Medina. We'll also bring you updates on what's happening at the ANC, where Michael Ashale is on standby. We'll also go to the Accra Mall, where my colleague Hannah Odame is also bringing us updates. But away from that, President John Mahama has begun consultation with the Council of State following 3 separate petitions seeking the removal of the Chief Justice. Now, the petitions submitted by various individuals have been forwarded to the Council of State as required by Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution. The move is the first step in the constitutional process for determining whether there are grounds for an impeachment. But let's bring you the statements that's filed. It will be on your screen shortly. We'll bring you the details of that petition, but you will recall that Professor Kweku Asare had earlier petitioned ex-President Akufo-Addo for the removal of the Chief Justice, citing concerns about judicial accountability. That petition followed the constitutional procedure outlined in Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution, which mandates the President to act upon such request. But what does Article 146 really mean? Let me bring you what the petition says. Now, the President Mahama has received 3 petitions from various persons seeking the removal of the Chief Justice. We're reading this from the statement, and it's on your screen by now. The President has forwarded the 3 petitions to the Council of State to commence the consultation process mandated by Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution. Now, let's bring you what Article 146 really entails in the 1992 Constitution. It says that, Clause 1 says that a justice of the Superior Court of a chairman of the Regional Tribunal shall not be removed from office except for stated misbehavior or incompetence or on grounds of inability to perform the functions of his office arising from infirmity or body or mind. And also 2 says that a justice of the Superior Court of Judicature or a chairman of a regional tribunal may only be removed in accordance with the procedure specified in this article. It continues to say that 3, if the President receives a petition for the removal of a Chief Justice of a Superior Court other than the Chief Justice or for the removal of the Chairman of a Regional Tribunal, he shall refer the petition to the Chief Justice, who shall determine whether there is a prima facie case. It continues as well, 4 says that where the Chief Justice decides that there is a prima facie case, he shall set up a committee consisting of 3 justices of the Superior Court or chairman of the Regional Tribunal, or both, appointed by the Judicial Council, and 2 other persons who are not members of the Council of State, nor members of Parliament, nor lawyers, and who shall be appointed by the Chief Justice on the advice of the Council of State. 5 says that the committee appointed under Clause 4 of this article shall investigate the complaint and shall make its recommendations to the Chief Justice, who shall forward them to the President. So it continues to say where the petition is, which is an area of concern for us, and you say where the petition is for the removal of the Chief Justice, the President shall, acting in consultation with the Council of State, appoint a committee consisting of 2 justices of the Supreme Court, one of whom shall be appointed chairman of the chairman by the President, and 3 other persons who are not members of the Council of State, nor members of Parliament, nor lawyers. The 7th one will say the committee appointed under Clause 6 of this article shall inquire into the petition and recommend to the President whether the Chief Justice ought to be removed from office. Now, 8 says that all proceedings under this article shall be held in camera, and the justice or chairman against whom the petition is made is entitled to be heard in his defense by himself or by a lawyer or other experts of his choice. 9 says that the President shall, in each case, act in accordance with the recommendation of the committee. And where a petition has been referred to a committee under this article, the President may, A, in the case of the Chief Justice, acting in accordance with the advice of the Council of State, B, by warrant signed by him, suspend the Chief Justice. B, in the case of any other justice of a superior court or a chairman of a regional tribunal acting in accordance with the advice of the Judicial Council, suspend that justice or that chairman of a regional tribunal. And 11 will say that the President may at any time revoke a suspension under this article. But what we want to concern ourselves with this afternoon is that what constitutes the membership of the Council of State? Do you know the members who make up or who constitutes the Council of State? Let's bring you that also on your screen. The Council of State in size is a total number of 31. Member body established under Article 89 of the 1992 Constitution. And it describes that 11 of these members will be elected members. And you recall that we brought you the election of those members that were nominated by persons by their regions. We brought you that elections. And the 16 of them should be elected members. President shall also appoint 11 of these members. High-profile members will constitute 3, and de facto to a member as well will be 1 person in a total of 31. Now, what you must also know is that 45% of the entire of the members of the Council of Members are directly or indirectly appointed by the President. Now, let's also get to know some key or very notable members who make up the member of council. It says that first person we're showing you on your screen will be Edward Joe Ajaho, former Speaker of Parliament between the years of 2013 to 2017, former MP for Aveno and Ave, 1993 to 2013 under the NDC, and former Deputy Speaker 2009 to 2013 as well. Another very notable person you should know by now is Justice Sophia Kufu, former Chief Justice of Ghana between the years of 2017 to 2019, and a Supreme Court judge between 1995 and 2019 as well. And also Betty Mould Idrisu, former Minister of Education between the years of 2011 and 2012, and also former Minister for Justice, also 2009 to 2011. But let's get some understanding as well. Well, now with 3 additional petitions submitted under President Mahama's administration, the matter has really gained renewed attention. Now, joining me on phone is Nana Osafo Kantanka. He's a lawyer. Let's understand what's really and how much discretion will the President exercise over this consultation with the Council of State members. If the Council of States recommend whatever they recommend, will he be binded by it? Would he be bound by it? What's your initial reaction to this entire petition in the first place, given that it's not the first time under the SWAL government there was a petition by Professor Astari, and then now we have 3 petitions. We don't know the content of that petition yet, but what's your initial reaction?
Yes, thank you very much, Ndefa. And my greetings to all listeners this afternoon. Yes, my initial reaction, this procedure is regulated by the Constitution. Yes, strictly regulated by the Constitution under Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution. So under these provisions, in summary, when the president, after the president has received the petition and in consultation with the Council of State, a committee will be formed. And this one pertains to the removal specifically of the Chief Justice. So after the president receives the petition, the president will refer, in consultation with the Council of State, refer the petition to the Council of State and then form a committee. So per the provisions of Article 146, after the proceedings and everything, the president is supposed to act on the recommendation of the committee. But that one is a jump. The committee, the Council of State, and then the president, after he has determined that there is a prima facie case, he will refer the petition to the Council of State. I think they have corrected the error in the previous petition. I think you earlier on referred to the Professor Azar's petition.
Yes.
It's filed in the public. And per Article 146, all proceedings under Article 146 must be in camera. I think it must not be in the public in the public space. So the proceeding even starts right after submitting the petition to the president. So that's where the proceeding starts. So if the petition falls in the public domain, it means there is a breach of Article 146. That's why the three other petitions, the petitioners have corrected that error. And now they've submitted it quietly to the president, and the president has referred the petition to the Council of State. So right after that, the Council of State maybe they will form a committee for the matter to be heard, and the Chief Justice will be given a fair hearing. So that's how come the petition is not in the public domain. I think the error is being corrected.
Okay.
Yes.
And so this committee that the president will constitute or will form, will it be out of the members of Council of State, or this will be just different people entirely? And is there a limitation on the number of persons that will constitute this committee?
Yes. It will be outside the Council of State. So the committee will consist of roughly 2 justices of the Supreme Court, and then one of whom shall be appointed chairman by the president.
Right.
And then the 3 other persons will not be members of the Council of State, nor are not supposed to be members of Parliament, nor are they supposed to be lawyers. So 2 justices of the Supreme Court, and then one of whom will be appointed chairman by the president. And the other 3 persons, they are neither supposed to be members of the Council of State, nor they are not supposed to be members and MPs, or they are supposed to be lawyers. So that's the composition. So the composition has been provided for by the Constitution.
Okay. So, if the Council of States will get back to the president and say that we're unable to determine a prima facie case on this, and will the president be bounded by this, or because it's an advice, he can just, jump over it and still proceed?
No, the prima facie case is the president who determines it. So the
First
president,
of all,
after the petition, the president will determine that there has been a prima facie case. And after the determination, then the petition will be sent to the Council of State. So that hurdle has already been crossed.
What then will the Council of State be determining?
So the Council of State will now, in consultation with the president, form the committee. Okay. Yes. So they will form the committee in consultation with the president. They will form the committee to determine the matter. So at the committee stages, when the Chief Justice will be given a hearing, either represented by a lawyer or any expert of their choice.
Well, I asked this question because previously the statement that came from the presidency at the time when ex-president Akufo-Addo was president, it said that in consultation with the Council of State, they haven't been able to determine a prima facie case. Then that begs the question as to whether it's the president that determines it or the Council of State will. But thank you for that clarity, which means that by the time it is getting to, if you heard that the president has forwarded it to the Council of State, it would mean that a prima facie case has been determined even in the first place.
So now we moved into the stage of forming the committee.
Okay.
In consultation with the Council of State.
Okay.
With those determined members by the Constitution.
But what are the chances? What's your overview of this petition? Surely it will not go outside of what the Constitution provides that should be part of the petition. Overall performance of the Chief Justice, do you think that this impeachment process should continue? I don't
want to fall into the domain of now coming out with a judgment or recommendation. So at this stage, I'll just put it on hold about the. I think whether the performance of the Chief Justice has been favorable or not, I think justice emanates from the people, and the people will determine. So you and fact will know that yes, the Chief Justice supervising the whole court or the judiciary, you are satisfied with their performance. So the people will determine.
Okay.
So at this stage, I don't want to jump into the arena of conflict.
I can understand, but thank you so much for talking to us.
Most welcome.
Right. Meanwhile, President John Mahama has released names for the first batch of metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives for Volta, Oti, Bono, Ahafo, Bono East, Savannah, Northeast, Western and North regions. Right, let's go back to the story on how much havoc had been caused in parts of Accra, leading to severe flooding, power outages and infrastructure damage. The intense rainfall also left roads submerged, disrupted traffic and collapsed billboards. At the ANC Mall in East Legon here in Accra, a carport caved in as a result of the strong winds and heavy rain, affecting cars. Over 50 cars parked over there. Some residents and commuters were also left stranded. So let's do a quick assessment of the devastation caused by Tuesday's rainstorm. Let's start with JoyNews' Papani, who is back at the ANC Mall. Papani, any assessment yet to the extent of damage that has been caused by yesterday's strong winds and rains?
Well, so in terms of extent of damage, quantified and how much it may cost, we are not told yet. But I'll get back to in terms of repairs and how much it possibly may cost to some of these people. But just to give you an explanation as to what exactly we are dealing with here. I'm standing right by a Benz CLA 250, and this particular one, this white vehicle, has a sunroof, a rear mirror, and then the front mirror. That is all broken now. This vehicle definitely needs a major fix-up. There are some other vehicles here, just to let you understand possibly what were affected here. This particular EV vehicle is a Toyota Tundra, and this is the TRD version. And when I talk about TRD version, this is the Toyota Racing Department, one of the top of the range of the Toyota Tundra. This is one of those, and the entire bonnet is mashed in, and this is from the metal railings that were supporting the solar roof at the time. We also have a Grand Cherokee here, and this is not even registered. This is a vehicle that I'm pretty sure that came into the country not long ago. The person was passing through the mall, possibly to get one or two things and then leave. This Grand Cherokee now is here, some dents here, some scratches, and the dents on the front mirror. So, and then there's this Ford Explorer. I'm told that it's the 2021 version, and this is registered in 2022. Relatively very new here, but again, the light to this particular vehicle, one of them is broken with a little dent on the top here. What is currently happening is that it was some of the visuals from last night. The solar roof and metals that were sitting on the vehicles at the time. At that time, it was some vehicles. We are left with about 18 vehicles. So all the solar roofs have all been taken off now. So we understand management is currently meeting those who have severe or to mild damages on their vehicles to find a way forward. What we are hearing from the grapevine right now is that they possibly have to go and fix their thing and bring a receipt to management who are planning to support them to their business assistance. But not everyone is happy about that particular announcement. But we are waiting here, trying to find out, dig more, and find the exact fine details of what that meeting between themselves, the management of the company, and then the owners of these vehicles that have been damaged in this particular situation here.
Michael, I lost you briefly at some point where you were giving us an update on what exactly the management and the owners of these vehicles will be up to. If I heard you correctly, the management are owning up to responsibility, or is going to be a shared cost?
Well, in the statement they shared last night, there was no conversation as to whether they were going to take up the full responsibility or what were they going to do really. The statement only mentioned that they were working with relevant state authorities to rescue the vehicles. This morning when we got here, what we have heard from some of the drivers who will not speak to us on record is that there's a meeting between them and management to find a way forward. What that will really entail, we are not told. But again, what we have heard from some of the drivers, again, they will not confirm to us or speak on record, is that there's a conversation where they have to go and bring a sort of a pro forma or go and see their own repair shop, bring the cost, give it to management, and then management will possibly foot that bill. And that is where some of them tell me that they are not happy about that particular communication. But they are still meeting other people. Some other drivers are still coming around, and hopefully we'll get final details when this meeting concludes between the management and the drivers. As it stands now, 50 vehicles last night. Some of them were unscathed. They survived the storm. But as it stands now, so sometime after 12 p.m. now, we have about 18 vehicles of the party, and these ones are the ones that will definitely need some body work or need some parts replaced. We have some expensive vehicles here. We have the Range Rover 4 here, not registered, relatively very new, and there's also a Toyota Tundra. This is the highest of the Tundra here I'm seeing here from the TRD department, Toyota Racing department. You know, the Toyota Race is one of the biggest of them that we have. It's also impacted the entire roof, and the bonnet is mashed in, and this is definitely some major work.
Right, Michael, thank you for bringing us updates from the ANC Mall in East Legon. Now, over here in Aveno as well, my colleague Hannah Odame has been bringing us updates on the amount of damage that also happened after yesterday's rain.
What happened is that yesterday we were here around 5:46. Then we hear that the rain started to fall. Immediately, we saw that the wind come at once. Boom! So everybody was running away running for your life. Then we hear the signboard started to falling down. There, the signboard started to falling down through from this place up to Farm Milk. If you are going, you see all the signboard lying down on the ground. It's not anything, it's because of the wind of the rain.
Wow. Okay, the issue is the billboards on this lane, let's say on this particular industrial road, is too much. This is an industrial area. There are a whole lot of factories here, meaning there are a whole lot of factory handmen who are working around here. The time in which this thing happened was around the time where workers were going home. If not that they decided to stay in their various factories and wait for the rain to stop before they go home, there would have been a different disaster all over. It is too much. It is an industrial area, a very busy place. So the government should check, or those who are involved, those who are responsible for it, they should check. It's too much here. It's too much here. Imagine, look at how close is it to our electric post too. Imagine if I don't gone forward or back and came to this side, then it would have caused another thing. And then the time in which it happens to, and if it was in the morning, look at how busy the place is. There's a little bit traffic here. Imagine if it was around this time, what would have happened? So we are pleading. And we those who work here, we are pleading. They should check it. It's too much here. They should take some out so that it will help us, because our health is at stake here. We beg them. We are pleading with the government or those who are really involved. I mean, those who are responsible for it. They should really check them. Then, I mean, take some out. They should minimize it for us.
And we have a problem with this thing that we see here. It's giving us a problem because I work around here. From the latest room to all this side, everything is collapsed, and we've complained so many times, and they are not doing anything. When we talk about it, and they said we should go to the AMA at Kaneshi, we went there several times. Myself personally, my boss, we went there. They said we don't have any control over it, that we should go and see the authority. So who is the authority that can stop all this? Because when we close from work, if something like this, what will happen is it will create a big disaster for us. So please, the government should come and do something about it. They should stop all these things. This is what we want.
Still on yesterday's rains, the serious destruction to the Medina Technical Institute here in Accra, where roofs of classrooms and dormitories were ripped off. Let's speak to Collins Frimpong. Collins, what's the update in the school currently?
Currently, students are not on campus because they are on vacation, and just a few of them are here due to vacation classes. And I've been engaging some of them, and they are appealing to government and other stakeholders, institutions to come to their aid, because next week they are resuming school. That's Wednesday. If nobody comes into their aid, they will not be able to resume school. So currently, the storm actually started around 4 p.m. yesterday, where it destroyed the girls' dormitory. And if you can see, the rooftop or the roof all have been ripped off, and also the dormitories inside, everything were flooded yesterday. And a classroom too was destroyed yesterday, Assembly Hall, and also the Vice Principal's academic office were all, the rooftop were all ripped off also. The Principal's bungalow was flooded yesterday. And as I came here, I've been assessing the situation, and I realized that the fence also, part or portions of the fence also was brought down yesterday. And that's what is happening here. This morning, government officials, including NADMO and also the assembly members, have been here, and the ministry are all trying to put things together to make sure that they are able to solve this situation so that students and the school can resume next week.
But there hasn't been any specific assurances from NADMO or the government officials yet?
No, there haven't been any specific assurance from officials.
Right. Collins, thank you for bringing us updates. Away and still on yesterday's rain, here's an update. The Ghana Meteorological Agency says the southern sector should expect more rains. Senior forecaster Joshua Asama spoke to Mamiesi Thompson earlier on News Desk.
What happens during the onset of the rainy season, before we get to the peak of the rainfall season, where rainfall becomes more often and we get rains almost every day, almost every few days. During the onset, rains are actually not that frequent. They occur randomly. But the kind of rainfall we get before the peak of the rainy season is of the type that we saw yesterday. And so they come with a lot of windy conditions, and then they are quite localized. So even in Greater Accra, you don't get it occurring over everywhere in the Greater Accra region. Just a few areas will get it. Other areas will not see that kind of magnitude. That is the condition we should be expecting from now into April. But when we go into the peak of the rainy season, May, June, July area, there we'll have frequent rainfall, but less windy conditions. Well, around this time, because of the windy and the gusty nature of the winds that we see, it's best that you always stay in an area where you know very well that it's quite strong. If you're in a building, you should know that the building is quite strong before you seek shelter in these areas when you see the clouds gathering and then it's about to rain, because it's not safe around this time to walk in the open when you see clouds gathering and rainfall coming, because most of the rains we see now will come with that kind of gusty winds, and so it's not safe to be around at all in the open space. It's better to have a sheltered area, stay there for the event to cease before you step out. And because there's also a risk of flash flood during this period, it's also not safe to be driving when there's rainfall occurring, because you don't know the kind of the state of the ground where you are passing, and so it could bring a lot of challenges and then problems for you if the area is covered by water. So the best thing to do now is to stay in a very safe place, get a shelter when the event ceases, and you are very sure of the area where you are going, and then you can now step out and go to where you want to go.
Away from that, an entomologist with the University of Energy and Natural Resources is raising public awareness about the consumption of African palm weevil larvae known as akokono in the Akan language. Dr. Jacob Parashuga Anankore, the coordinator of the Health Insects Project, says the insect is highly nourishing for the body and has the potential to protect the environment because it generates little or no greenhouse gases. Mahmoud Nuruddin was at the insect farm in Sunyani and reports that each female adult could lay up to 300 eggs.
So these beans you are seeing all over here have either the larval or adult stages of the African palm larva, which is traditionally known as akokono in the Akan language. So we use very simple agricultural products and sometimes agricultural waste to produce these nutritious edible insects.
Dr. Jacob Anankore, an entomologist and lecturer at the University of Energy and Natural Resources, says the larvae grow between 21 and 28 days before harvesting.
Once these ones hatch and grow up to 21 to 28 days, they are often ready for the market. So harvesting a few of them. I don't want, some have started weaving cocoons, so I don't want to bother them so much. So you can have a look. If you see a bin like this, it has coconut husks and other. So you see larvae all over. You can see larvae everywhere. I was just harvesting a few of them.
They have a high rate of reproduction, and one bean can harvest between 150 and 180 larvae, weighing around 1 kilogram depending on the size.
So 150 to 180 will be a kilogram depending on the sizes. Because you see, if these ones are much smaller than these ones. Okay, so these are actually ready for the market. This is about the 8th instar stage, so it means these eggs were laid first. Yeah, so each bin has a minimum of 1 kilo. Some have 2 kilos, others have as high as 5 kilograms, and all this depends on the number of adults I have put in each bin. Some have just 3 pairs, others have 2 pairs, but if you have 5 pairs, then you are getting a lot of larvae, because each female adult can lay as much as 300 eggs. But the thing is, not all the eggs will hatch, and if they all hatch, not all of them will grow into adulthood, because if there is limited food, there may be cannibalism in the bins.
It contains 19 of the 21 essential amino acids, as well as high levels of protein and iron.
They have 19 out of the 21 essential amino acids, and they have superior protein and iron content that I will share with you at a different point in time. So if you come and take a look at this is a bin containing, these are 2 bins containing adults that we inoculated 3 weeks ago. And these are the adult stages. They are dead now. And then these are the larvae. These are just 3 weeks old. And you can see them looking healthy, strong, and yummy. So these ones will lay eggs, and the eggs will hatch into young larvae.
The edible insect emits no or very little greenhouse gas. According to Dr. Anankwari, eating them could help with both food insecurity and climate change.
And then whereas the beef has 14 milligrams of calcium, the insect has 88 milligrams. So somebody should tell me why we should not promote the consumption of edible insects. Then again, these insects do not emit greenhouse gases. Only a few groups of insects emit little greenhouse gases. If you compare these to conventional meats like beef, these produce 100 times less greenhouse gases. Okay, and then if you also look at the amount of vegetation you need as the palm larvae, you need little space. Look at this little space that I'm using, and I'm producing several kilos per week.
Currently, 1 kilogram of palm larva costs between 70 and 100 cedis.
We produce and we are not able to meet the quantities that people are purchasing. Because if I tell you the number of people who place orders and the class in society who place orders, you'll be shocked. That is why the prices have gone up to about 70 to 100 Ghana cedis per kilo. And why is it expensive? It's because we are not so many, just a few people are producing.
Dr. Anankwari refuses to share his trade secret, but says that production is simple and cost effective.
So you need a simple redding bin like this, which is relatively cheaper. Okay, this is a bin that you need, and then you need a wire mesh like this, and this is supposed to prevent predators and parasitoids. When I say predators, I mean wall geckos, lizards, rats, and parasitoids are insects that feed on other insects. And then you also need a rope and then a rubber band to hold it in place, and then you need a cloth like this just to cover as I'm doing, so that those insects which can actually penetrate the wire mesh holes will not be able to penetrate that. So you can see that other insects have come to lay their eggs on the cloth. We simply wash this periodically. So without this wire mesh, all these insect eggs would have been inside the bin, and that will contaminate our setup, and that is why we're doing this.
You're watching News Today, and we've been bringing you updates on how widespread damage and flooding in parts of Accra has Thousands of homes have been left without power after Tuesday's rainstorm. And as our President Mahama consults Council of State on the petitions of Chief Justice removal, we've been bringing you updates on Article 146 and the Council of State membership. Stay with us as we have business, showbiz and sports coming up after this break.
Welcome back to business here on JoyNews Today. My name is Winston Taki, and now to our first business story. MTN Ghana has launched the Yellow Ladies Network, an initiative designed to empower women and guide them toward leadership roles. There is more in the following report.
The Yellow Ladies Network is structured around 4 key pillars: empower, inspire, guide, and coach, aiming to foster personal and professional growth among women. Speaking at the launch, Chief Finance Officer Antoinette Kofi emphasized that the network is not only focused on women within MTN, but also extends to community engagement. As part of this commitment, MTN is introducing a business support program for women entrepreneurs aimed at fostering economic growth and contributing to a stronger Ghana.
We also, as part of this, are actually launching a product for women in business, because we believe that if you empower female-owned businesses, you actually enrich society. And so our work is going to go beyond our organization into our communities, because we want to help build a stronger Ghana and a more diverse and inclusive Ghana.
Chief Corporate Services and Sustainability Officer Adjoa Wiafi said the initiative is a critical step in embedding sustainability measures within MTN's operations. By prioritizing women's empowerment, the company seeks to create a long-term social and economic impact.
MTN is about a lot of things, and when you look at our strategy, one of the things that we say, ESG at the core. And one of the key pillars of ESG is our the social side, where we are pushing gender equity. And so today we have come to a point where we want to embed we want to embed sustainability and ESG into our operations. We've done a lot for women within the organization, training programs spearheaded by HR. We thought that for us to accelerate action, and you know that the theme for this year's International Women's Day was accelerating action, was for us to move beyond what we know and formally do for women to what women within the organization can do for themselves.
In another development, the Africa Sustainable Energy Center has called for proper management of the power sector to reduce the increasing cost of operations of the Electricity Company of Ghana. The center has warned that the power sector could face severe challenges by the end of this year, leading to another power crisis. There is more in the following report.
The Africa Sustainable Energy Center has called for increased cross-representation on the boards of key entities within the energy value chain to enhance governance, transparency, and operational efficiency. According to ASEC, diversifying board membership with representatives from entities like Ghana Grid Company and Volta River Authority would ensure sector-wide decisions are informed by diverse technical perspectives. Executive Director of ASEC, Engineer Justice Onyina Kuto, said this could help reduce losses, particularly on the part of ECG.
When you look at the value chain, you take the generation, VRA, and the IPPs, they have their issues, but it's been managed. You take the transmission, Gridco, they have their issues, which are also being managed really well. And then you come to the distribution, mainly ECG. That is where most of the challenges. You see, you produce your power, you take it to the market, you are not able to collect the revenue efficiently. Listening to the minister, he mentioned that the recovery rate of ECG as of last year was 62%, meaning that 38% are not being recovered. And these are debts that have been accrued over the years. And that is a challenge that we really have to find lasting solution to.
He called for increase in government-owned generation power system to reduce the reliance on independent power producers, which add to the cost of power.
And this is a clarion call to us as Ghanaians. We need to invest into government-owned generation systems. If we are able to even increase it above 90%, that is going to go a long way to help us so that we wouldn't have to fall so much on the IPP. So we have to pay attention to this and then increase our government-owned and invest into government-owned generation power system.
That's all for business. We have more business update for you at 1 p.m. on the marketplace. My name is Winston Taki. Up next is Sports and Showbiz.